And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient, who, when disasters strike them, say, indeed, we belong to Allah, indeed, and indeed, to Him we will return. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient, who, when disasters strike them, say, indeed, we belong to Allah, indeed, and indeed, to Him we will return. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient, who, when disasters strike them, say, indeed, we belong to Allah, indeed.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace to all attendees present for this wonderful Islamic virtual conference, Starry Nights. I'm Susanna Porob, and I'm the head of the lower primary. And on behalf of the school management, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th day of our virtual conference. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our internationally acclaimed, illustrious Islamic speakers who have taken time out from their busy schedules to address us. Each day has been inspiring, rejuvenating, and kindling our souls through their sessions. The daily conferences have been a dynamic conglomeration of their profound knowledge, reviving our knowledge with a renewed fervor, with topics so far ranging from the 5 pillars of Islam to well-being and the importance of gratitude, lessons that we can all gain from. I would like now to introduce you to our very own Nuha Patani from grade 12, who will host this session. She was recently elected the president of student agency at NMS. She also heads the NMS Debate Society, where discussion and varied viewpoints on important topics are encouraged. She is a dedicated Islamic studies student who is fascinated by its history and is also an avid reader, passionate about Islamic history. It is my pleasure to hand over to you, Nuha, to take this conference forward. Over to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Anna. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said that no fatigue, no disease, no sorrow, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to our respected guest speaker, Brother Abdurrahman Syed, our principal, vice principal, teachers, parents, and attendees on this wonderful occasion. Welcome to the Starry Nights Virtual Conference, an event held by GEMS New Millennium School for 10 days, where prestigious guest speakers enlighten us on various topics. Today's topic is Swaying in the Wind, the secret to resilience. Ramadan is a time for prayer, fasting, and spiritual growth. It is during this holy month that Muslims learn about resilience and character building. It is through resilience that our characters are built, and it is the spirit of resilience and determination that will push us to greater heights. Today, to illuminate us on the secret to resilience, we have Brother Abdurrahman Syed as our guest speaker. Brother Abdurrahman Syed is a communication expert with a special interest in Islam, Islamic branding, and prophetic persuasion. He leads Algebra, a UAE-based consulting firm that specializes in corporate communication. He is a graduate of Harvard University and is a visiting faculty member at the Karachi School of Business and Leadership. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Good morning from Michigan here in the United States. I'm fasting, as many of you are, but it's much earlier in the day for me than it is for you. Before I proceed, Noha, please let me know if there is anything unclear about what I'm saying or about the video coming through.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Just throughout the video, see your face right there on my screen. You can give me a thumbs up in case I'm uncertain, or give me a thumbs down if something's going wrong, and I'll adjust. Fair enough? Okay. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Let's share the screen and get started. Let me know if you can see my screen. Swaying in the Wind, the secret to resilience?
I think you just stopped sharing right now.
Let's try again. There we go. Okay, so there are many ways into this topic. I thought one way that we could begin, since I'm speaking to a school of students, is to begin with an educational video, right? Now you might say, well, what does the video have to do with Ramadan? We'll talk about that at the end of the video. You guys ready?
Have you ever felt anxious when you've had loads of homework? Maybe you felt hurt when a friend said something mean about you. Or sad when your dog passed away. Or maybe you're feeling nervous about leaving primary school to go to secondary school. There are going to be times in your life that will be difficult to deal with. But there is good news. Did you know you can learn skills to help you deal with your challenging emotions better? These skills help you develop a characteristic called resilience. Resilience is the ability to cope with and bounce back from difficult times. It's being able to pick yourself back up after you've been knocked down. It's about building your inner strength to deal with and manage stressful situations. Resilience and emotions go hand in hand. Learning how to deal with your challenging emotions when they occur is important in developing your resilience. It can be helpful to think of emotions as the weather. Sometimes they can be stormy and dark, and other times they can be sunny and bright. Learning how to master your emotions can help you build the confidence to tackle any challenge thrown your way. Some of the challenges that you might be dealing with could include dealing with an illness, relationship or family issues, problems at school, bullying, or losing someone you love. Those are all really big things. But small things can stress people out too, like losing a sports game, being told off by a parent or teacher, or getting a detention. For some people, these little things can add up. But for other people, it doesn't bother them much at all. That's because everyone has a different level of resilience. Two people might experience similar situations, but cope with them in completely different ways. This can be due to past experiences, genetics, or what we have learned from parents. Everyone is different. The great thing is that you are actually able to develop and build your resilience. However, being resilient doesn't mean you are meant to push any feelings away or not express them. Developing resilience means you learn to recognize your emotions and manage them in a constructive way. Here are some simple ways to start developing your resilience. Find healthy ways to deal with stressful times. If things start feeling too stressful, find something enjoyable to do, like patting your pet, doing some exercise, or talking to a parent, sibling, or friend. It can also include speaking positively to yourself and reassuring yourself that things will be okay. Accept the fact that change is a part of life. This means everyone goes through it. Perhaps you have moved to a new city or started a new school. Maybe there's a new member in your family. Often, it can take time to adjust to a new change in life, especially if we didn't choose it. But as you learn to accept changes in your life and make the best out of whatever is happening, you'll grow stronger and happier. Take some deep breaths. When you feel a challenging emotion, chances are your body is physically reacting to it too. It will most likely be giving you warning signs that you're feeling a certain way. If you're stressed, scared or nervous, your heart might beat really fast, or you might feel sweaty and shaky. But did you know that you can actually use your body to help you manage your emotions? One way of doing this is by controlling your breathing. Start by slowing your breathing down. Take deep, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. You'll be surprised with how calm this can make you feel. Finally, learn to be flexible when it comes to change. This helps to develop your resilience. Life isn't perfect, and things don't always go according to plan. Maybe you were promised a birthday party, but your family couldn't afford one this year. Or maybe you were expecting to get into the top team for your favourite sport, but found out that you placed in the second team instead. Can you learn to become flexible when things don't go the way you expected? Being flexible helps you to be creative in your ways of coping. Having a plan B, and even a plan C, can assist in your flexibility so that when your plan A falls through, you still have other options. The key is to maintain a positive perspective and not only see what's not working, but be able to accept change and focus on moving forward. Developing your resilience is super important if you want to be able to handle difficult situations well and come out on top. Learning to develop your resilience can be done in many ways, like accepting that change is normal, using healthy strategies to manage challenging emotions, and learning how to go with the flow. Remember, being resilient does not mean you aren't allowed to feel and acknowledge your emotions. It just means that you'll have the tools to help you to cope with things that are difficult, so you'll be able to bounce back and make the most out of life.
Now, this was a 7-minute video with a lot of information in it. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions to help make sure that we're all on the same page. The first question is already in the chat. What is one example of a challenge which requires resilience? Remember, resilience is the ability to cope with a challenge and to bounce back. So what's one example of a challenge from the video or from your life? Just type it into the chat. Go ahead. Losing a family member. That's a big one. Changing your schools. Absolutely. Failing an exam. Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. Getting a new family member. You might think that's a happy occasion, but it's not always easy. I'm going to share a few from the video while you guys keep entering the chat. Dealing with an illness, relationship or family issues, problems at school, losing a sports game, being told off by a parent or a teacher, getting detention. Do you guys have detention at New Millennium? Losing a pet, moving to another place or a new house, being in a new area. That's a good list. That's a great list, guys. Ready for my second question? Here's the second question. In the video, what are some of the solutions that were suggested to face these challenges? What are some of the solutions that were suggested to face these challenges? Take deep breaths. So simple. Go outside and play a game. Yes, I like that. Relax your mind. Read books. Have healthy habits to stay positive. Do what you like. Change your perception. Go for a walk. Talk positively to yourself. These are all the things coming in through the chat. I'm just reading them out for you. Talk it out. You could talk it out with someone else, or you could talk it out with yourself. Talk to your parents. Absolutely. Talk to your pets. I just made that one up. But I'm going to add some that were from the video, okay? Find healthy ways to deal with stressful times. Accept that change is a part of life. Take some deep breaths. You guys already mentioned that. And learn to be flexible. Look around and find alternatives. Take fresh air. I'm going to take 3 more suggestions, guys. Read Quran. Very good. And 2 more. Do engaging activities. And one final one coming through. Believe that there is always a solution. That's a great one. That's a great one. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so the topic of our talk today is the same topic as the topic of the video, resilience. Right. Now you might have a couple of questions. Your first question might be, wait a minute, wasn't the title of the talk Swaying in the Wind? What does this have to do with swaying in the wind? Or you might say, okay, cool, resilience is an important topic. What does it have to do with Ramadan? What does it have to do with Islam? I thought this was supposed to be a religious talk. Well, I'm going to answer both of those questions at the same time. Swaying in the wind, the secret to resilience. Everything in the video was super helpful. But I'm going to share a secret with you that the video did not include. Okay? You see, our religion is a way of life. And when you believe that your religion is a way of life, then you must trust that it's going to help you deal with your life. You see, religion is not just about praying or fasting or giving charity or going on Hajj or making dua and doing dhikr. It's all of those things. But if it's a way of life, it's also a source of comfort, of wisdom, of understanding. It's like a playbook or a user manual to figure out, what do I do if I'm facing these issues in my life? You open up the Quran. Hello.
Sorry, I'm so late.
That's okay.
So you're my Islamic teacher, right?
That's right. And you're one of 41 participants. So take a seat and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm in the city. I'm sitting right now.
Excellent. Okay. So we just played a video and now I'm going to share a slide. Okay. Ramadan is about fasting. Absolutely. Ramadan is about praying. Absolutely. Ramadan is about the Quran. But Ramadan is also the best time to be your best self. Say that after me. Ramadan is the best time to be your best self.
Ramadan is the best
Time to be your
life
best
to be your
self.
best
self.
love.
Okay. Every year, Ramadan gives us a new opportunity to train ourselves, to try to train out the bad habits, and to try to pick up new habits, better habits to be better people. Okay. And whenever you face a challenge, one of the most important habits that you can build as a person growing up is how to face any challenge that comes to you. That's resilience. The first thing you have to know from the Quran is that you can do it. Remember, among the solutions, the last one that was shared was be positive and know that there's always a solution. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 286, Allah tells us, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. God does not burden any soul with more that it can bear. You see, when you get a challenge facing you, staring you in the face, it can feel overwhelming. And the first thing you have to remind yourself, because God tells us this, so we have to believe it. God does not burden any soul with more that it can bear. It feels overwhelming, and your feelings are valid. But if you remind yourself that God would not give you something more than you can deal with, then you know that there will be a solution. Okay? Now, there are many solutions that were shared in the video, but I'm going to make it a little more practical and a little more interesting. This is the part with the secret. Okay? I'm going to share a short parable or simile that Prophet Muhammad shared that we can learn from. Okay? There is an example of two characters compared to two objects. The first is a believer compared to a plant, and the second is a disbeliever compared to a tree. It might seem a little weird or confusing at first, but we'll figure it out together. You ready? So this is found in the collection of Bukhari, versions which are also found in the collection of Muslim. The part that I'm going to read to you in Arabic is on the authority of one of the companions of Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace, Ka'b, may God be pleased with him. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مثل المؤمن كخامة من الزر تفيها الريح مرة وتعدلها مرة. The example of the believer is that of a fresh, tender plant, which the wind bends sometimes and other times lets it stand straight. ومثل المنافق كالأرزة لا تزال حتى يكون انجعافها مرة واحدة. And the example of the hypocrite, or in a different version or narration, the disbeliever, pine tree, which keeps straight until it is uprooted all at once. I'll say it again. The example of the believer is that of a fresh, tender plant, which the wind bends sometimes and at other times lets it stand straight. And the example of the hypocrite or disbeliever is that of a pine tree, which keeps straight until it is uprooted all at once. Now that's interesting. Why would Prophet Muhammad compare the believer to a plant that bends and doesn't stand straight? When a calamity or a challenge faces you, don't you think you should stand straight? Don't you think you should fight it? This is very interesting. If anyone knows why the believer is like a young, tender plant and not like the pine tree, and the believer sways with the wind rather than standing straight, please put that in the chat. I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. And then we're going to do a little role play. So get ready for an exercise. Get ready to get out of your seats if you're sitting. If there's other people in the room, please find one person, even better, two, and we'll do this together. Okay? Here's the problem. Why is it that the believer is like a young, tender plant that sways in the wind instead of standing straight? Why, when a challenge comes at us, if we're believers, we sway and bend down and then stand back up rather than staying stiff in one place? I'm going to see in a moment if anyone has suggested anything in the change. Okay. I was sharing my screen. I didn't realize that you didn't see it. I'm going to show it again one more time. This is the ayah, and this is the hadith. The example of the believer is that of a fresh, tender plant, which the wind bends sometimes and other times lets it stand straight. And the example of the disbeliever is that of a pine tree, which keeps straight until it is uprooted all at once. Ooh, Asir, good answer. Shireen, very good answer. Benazir, you guys are onto it. Tazeen, you're onto it. Okay, you guys ready for this exercise? If you haven't figured it out or you're still curious, we're going to do it together, okay? I'm going to stop sharing and I am going to stop my screen so you can see my background. You can see I have some guests in the room. To the side, to the side, to the side, to the side. I'll call you up. Okay. So here is, give me a moment. I'm trying to stop sharing my screen. Choose virtual background, and we're going to say none. Okay. So I'm going to invite two characters to help me do this exercise with you, okay? She's standing against the wall. I've got the plant and I got the wind, okay? Plant, move here. We're going to move the chair out of the way. Guys, do this with me. If you have someone in the room with you, then ask them to be the wind. If you don't have someone in the room with you, then imagine there's a wind, okay? This is Rahma. Rahma is the wind. This is Duha. Duha is the plant, okay? First, Duha is going to be a plant, and then Duha is going to be the pine tree, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Move back, please. Move back, please. A little more, a little more, a little more. There you go. Perfect. Okay. You're going to push her 3 times. First time soft, second time medium, and third time hard, okay? When you're a plant and you get pushed, you got to keep your feet planted on the ground because you're a plant. Plants don't walk around. Plants don't jump. Plants don't fly. Okay, you got to keep your feet on the ground. You got to keep your
Brother, I think your screen has got stuck. There's a little technical glitch and brother is trying to reconnect. So can we have everyone just wait a little?
I just want to tell the students who've joined today, it's fantastic to see a lot of students new to the session. And it's also great to see Ms. Pragya, our Hindi teacher, and Ms. Susanna, who introduced so many non-Muslim staff who are here and who are attending this session so diligently. In fact, I know for sure Ms. Susanna has been attending this session from day one. So, really appreciate the support that our non-Muslim staff are extending to, towards this very holy season. I think Brother Abdul Rahman is back with his two lovely kids, so I'm going to hand over, the platform to you. It's by the way, I must tell you, brother, that this is such an lovely theme. I think resilience is so much the need of the hour for all our students, for all of us actually. We tend to cave into, subtle pressures in life, and then we immediately cave in and we immediately succumb to it, not knowing, how to deal with it. But just to know that, we can take refuge in the Almighty, and then there is a greater force above us to help us through those situations is so reassuring. So thank you for addressing this topic. And I just love the way you're doing it with the animation and all of the very, relating to the students. So thank you again, and over to you. You have to unmute Brother Abdul Rahman Famida.
Yes, I'm making him the co-host, ma'am.
We're back. So there were two steps to the exercise, guys. We did the part with the fresh tender plant, soft, medium, hard. If you've already done the pine tree, then you know how this works. With the pine tree, feet on the ground, and you have to be absolutely stiff and straight, okay? Oh, can't move. Medium. Okay, hard. Hard. Okay. So here's the trick. If you're going to be standing straight and your challenges are small, you're going to be just fine. But when the challenges are too big and you try to stand straight, it'll be too much for you. Okay? Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you. You can take a seat and watch. Okay, so I'm happy to put the screen back on if that's helpful. And I want to share one more exercise with you. And that's going to be just making a simple dot. Okay, you guys ready for that? Okay. See, I have to be honest with you. When I first read this hadith, I was really curious. Why is it that if I stand straight, that I can withstand small challenges until I'm uprooted? All right. And why is it when I'm a young plant and I sway with the wind, what does it have to do with being a believer? Why isn't it the believer stands straight? And I had to think about that a little bit. Okay, so here's what I came to. And some of you got it even before we did the exercise. When you believe in God, you know that any challenge that comes your way, God is bigger than that challenge. And God would not send you that challenge if he knew that you couldn't deal with it. Once you realize that that challenge is not too big for you because it came from God, and then God is better and bigger than the challenge, then you know who to turn to. And you know how to deal with the challenge. You can accept the challenge. You can show patience. You can feel frustrated or sad or overwhelmed, and those things are all okay. But when you are flexible and you sway with the wind, you don't let the challenges get to you because you don't have to fight them. Now, if you, instead of believing in God, only have yourself to believe in and yourself to rely on, as long as you're strong, you're fine. But when you're not strong enough, it's going to prove too much. So when we turn to God and we submit to the will of God, then the challenges that come our way don't prove to be too much. Even if we roll with the punches like a boxer, we take the hits, but we roll with the punches and we get back up. You see, a believer is always in one of two conditions. You can make two kinds of dua for these two conditions. Either things are going well, good times. When things are going well, when the times are good, don't be fooled into thinking they're good because of you. All right? I'm the man. I'm so cool. I'm so tough. I'm so awesome. Remember that the good times come from God, and remember to be thankful to God. So we're going to do two quick prayers. I'm going to let you fill in the blank. Okay? You can say it out loud to yourself, or you can put your answer in the chat. This is, in good times, a very simple dua. Okay? You can say it in English. You can say it in another language. You can say God. You can say Allah. You can say Ameen. You can say Amen. If you choose not to say the prayer, that's totally fine too. In good times, God, I feel, and put whatever you feel. Proud, happy, excited, relieved. Pick a feeling, put a feeling. Oh, sorry, I switched it around. Sorry, guys. In happy times, God, I feel, and whatever feeling you got. Thank you. Thank you for what? For what you're thankful for. And then finally, please help me be, feel, or do. Okay, go ahead, fill in the blanks. You can say it out loud to yourself, or you can put it in the chat. God, I feel. Thank you for. Please help me.
I think you can share
Ameen.
your screen because you had put that on the presentation.
I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. Here's the prayer. Very simple, very short. Just fill in the blanks. God, I feel. Thank you for. Please help me be, feel, or do. Fill in the blanks yourself. Ameen. Okay, ready for the second one? This is for when the times are not so good. We listed all kinds of challenges. Very simple recipe when you want to make. All you got to do is something like this. God, Allah, I feel. You could feel sad. You could feel disappointed. You could feel frustrated, angry, rejected, alone, disappointed. I said disappointed already. Stressed, anxious, misunderstood, hurt, attacked. I know that's okay because you love me and you will take care of me. Allah, I feel. Put in your feeling. I know that's okay because you love me and you will take care of me. Go ahead, say it out loud or type it in the chat. Then finally, please help me be, feel, or do. Ameen. You see, whether the times are good or the times are bad, resilience tells us to sway with the wind. The wind will come, but we can deal with it. If we know that there's a higher power and that this too shall pass. Okay, that's it from me. Based on the time, I'm happy to take questions or hand it back over to you. If people are still typing, please feel free to. I'm going to share something that we often do when we're closing a gathering or a meeting in as a reminder from the Quran. It's one of the shortest surahs or chapters from the Quran. Wal asr. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr. By time, by the passing of time. It passes so quickly. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Certainly, humanity is in a state of loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except for those who believe. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and do good deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and encourage each other towards the truth. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and encourage each other to be patient.
Thank you so much, brother. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And again, thank you so much for joining us today and addressing us on the very relevant and important topic of resilience in this very interactive session, which I'm sure all the attendees enjoyed. Today's conference was rewarding, it was eye-opening, and it equipped us with the important tools of resilience and perseverance as we do our best to improve ourselves this Ramadan. So Jazakallahu khairan, Brother Abdurrahman Syed. We are truly grateful for sharing your knowledge this evening. We will now end today's session with an Islamic nasheed presented by the students of NMS.
The month of Ramadan is here, the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is here, welcome to Ramadan. The 90th Hijri month is here, the month of Ramadan. It comes before Shawwal and right after Shawwal.
Jazakallah, everyone. And thank you, brother, for your time. And we'll end the session right now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.